Welcome back. Season 1, episode 14. We have completed the very first season of the series. Right now, in terms of, the games, right now we're just gonna go through a review of the season, both in terms of our team, the Rice Owls, as well as just the overall universe that we are building here in this dynasty. We're starting 9 years ago at this point in 2013, which is totally fine with me. I don't care. So it's like a mixture of real and fake. I mean, obviously fake is video game, but fake in terms of the structure and setup. So let's take a look. So yeah, we want to start off with conference standings. We'll get into ours, but let's just go through alphabetical order. So over in the ACC Atlantic, Clemson was the top team with a 12-2 overall record, 9-1 in their conference. And as you can see, the other teams, look at Florida State. Whoa, all the way in the bottom. That might be a target school for the future sometime. Over in the ACC Coastal, Virginia led that with an 11-2 overall record, 8-1 in the conference. North Carolina behind them, and then the stragglers. Over in the American East, this is the team right here. Yep, you see that right. Number 1. We'll get into that. Cincinnati, the number 1 team in the American East with a 14-2 overall record. It's a little bit of foreshadowing. I might as well go ahead and tell you now. These guys won the national title on the game. So I'll break down. We do the 8-team playoff college Revamped dynasty tool. So yeah, and it was pretty dramatic what they did. So in the American West, BYU led that side of the conference with a 8-2 conference record, 10-4 overall. You see the teams below them. Over in the Big 12, we have Iowa State. Iowa State ran away with the title over in the 10-team Big 12. In the Big 10 East, Michigan was number 1. They had an overall 15-1 record. As you can see, number 2, they lost the title game to Cincinnati. They were 10-0 in the conference. They pretty much ran the table all the way up to the buzzsaw, which was the national title game against a 3-star team too at that. Ohio State was behind them. They also made the playoff with an 8-1 record in the conference, 11-2 overall. And the stragglers you can see in the Big 10 East. Over in the Big 10 West, Wisconsin led that side of the conference, 8-2 conference record, 10-4 overall. And the other teams behind them. Conference USA East, I was able to edit the Division A, Division B piece and made it East and West. So on the Conference USA East side, Western Kentucky ran away with it with the 8-1 conference record, 12-2 overall. FIU, who the college Revamp team has replaced with James Madison in real life, so I'm pretty much stuck at this volume. I'm not going to go past I think this is version 18 maybe. I'm gonna stick with version 18 and we'll just settle there. until the new college football game comes out, and we'll see what happens at that point, because that's on a whole new console. It may not be PC, and I'm trying to stick to PC. PC is just so much easier for me, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, so that is FIU, and these are the other teams in the Conference USA East. On our side, the Conference USA West, Southern Miss ran away with the conference with an 8-1 record, conference record, 9-5 overall. Here is the team that we are building, the Rice Owls. Hey man, you know, 4-8 overall record, not the best, but we'll take it. You know, 4-4 in the conference. We had a 500 record in the conference. We'll take that. We scored 217 points. We gave up 248 points. Our defense, bruh, our defense is pretty good. I'm excited to see the defense, what they're gonna look like next season, especially as I continue to tweak the defensive playbook. But we'll see. There's our home and road record. We had a winning record at home, 3-2. And there you see we went 1-6 on the road. So independents, in this universe, there are 2 independents, which are Army and Notre Dame. Notre Dame kind of sucks. That can also be a target for future. You know, at some point I may graduate on from Rice Owls and take on a larger program, but we'll see how that goes. In the MAC East, Kent State ran away with that. They had a 12-2 overall record, 9-1 in the conference. And then you can see the stragglers here. Over on the MAC West side, Central Michigan won that with a 7-3 conference record, 7-7 overall. And there are the other teams below. In the Mountain West Mountain side, Air Force takes it just barely with a 6-4. Whoa, 6-4. Oh, okay, yeah, because they went to the conference championship. 6-4 conference record, 8-6 overall. So these teams weren't necessarily the best. Then on the west side of the Mountain West Conference, Nevada ran away with that side with an 8-2 conference record. They went 9-5 overall. Just subpar teams over here in the Mountain West. Pac-12 North, Oregon. Looks like they were tied with Oregon State. Looks like Oregon State may have gone to the championship game. We'll get to that screen in a bit. But Oregon and Oregon State may have been tied with the north side of the Pac-12. On the south side of the Pac-12, Utah went undefeated, 10-0 conference record. That tells you there they won the conference championship. 14-1, so they lost somewhere in the playoffs. UCLA behind them with Arizona State and USC Trojans, and then the bottom dwellers. And the SEC East, Florida wins that with a 6-2 record. Actually, no, I take that back. They don't. Looks like Tennessee may have won the conference. There was 3 teams up at the top. I know Tennessee. I could tell Tennessee won because they have the 9 games there. They must have lost the conference championship, which we'll get to. Florida ends up with a 10-3 record. Georgia 9-4. Tennessee 8-6 unranked. On the west side of the SEC conference, Ole Miss wins it with a 7-2 record. Looks like they win the conference. And so it was also a three-way tie here. The SEC teams just beat up on each other, as they do in real life. Then in the last conference, we have the Sun Belt. Looks like Georgia Southern may have won that in the tie over Louisiana. Yeah, and that's the conference standings. So we'll also take a look at conference championship week. Kent State won the MAC championship 33-21 over Central Michigan. Western Kentucky won the Conference USA, which the conference we're in, Conference USA. They won that 22-17 over Southern Miss. Ole Miss, as I mentioned, won the SEC championship over Tennessee, 31-7. Cincinnati beat BYU in the American Championship, 21-16. Air Force takes out. Wait, hold on. Let me see something. Oh yeah, okay. Air Force takes out Nevada 35-14 in the Mountain West Championship. So Air Force over Nevada. Clemson beat North Carolina in the ACC Championship 34-15. Utah won the Pac-12 Championship 31-10. I think I mentioned that earlier. I didn't mention the score, but I mentioned that Utah won because they ran the table in the Pac-12. And same with Michigan. I may have mentioned that they also run the table in their conference. They won the Big Ten Championship 24-14 over Wisconsin. So those are the conference champions. Conference championship game winners, I should say. Bowl season. Now, I'm not going to go through all these bowls. I will just say, I'll just scroll through them. I'll say that, you know, my squad didn't win a bowl. Hell, we didn't even go to a bowl. What am I talking about? We didn't win one. We didn't even go. But let me see how am I gonna do this. Okay, I'll just speak to it off screen, and then I'll edit it in the playback. So in terms of the 8-team playoff in this season, it was number 1 Michigan with a 13-0 record facing Virginia, which was the number 8 seed team. Virginia had a 11-1 record. And then the second game was Iowa State, who came in to the game. They were ranked number 4, playing Ole Miss, who were ranked number 5. Iowa State at 10-2, Ole Miss at 10-3. On the other side, the number 2 team was Utah. They came into the playoff with a 13-0 record, and they were matched up against Ohio State, who had a 11-1 record as the number 7 seed. Then down at the bottom side there, we had Clemson with a 12-1 record coming into the playoff as the number 3 seed versus Cincinnati with a 11-2 record as the number 6 seed. So in that first game, Michigan beat Virginia 38-24 to advance. Ole Miss barely beat Iowa State by a point. That had to be a heartbreaker to advance to play Michigan. Then on the other side, Utah beat Ohio State by 10 points, 34-24. So that was, you know, on schedule as expected. This was a little bit of a shocker in that Cincinnati, number 6, upset number 3, just barely by 2 points, 21-19, to escape past Clemson to get to the next round. Then Michigan beat Ole Miss in the semifinal, which was the Peach Bowl, by a score of 34-21 to advance to the college football championship game. On the other side, in the Fiesta Bowl, it looks like in the Fiesta Bowl, Cincinnati beat Utah 19-14. So another close one. That's like 3 close ones in a row. So if you remember on that, in Utah's conference championship, I think they beat BYU by like 5 points. So then in the college football championship game, Cincinnati beats an undefeated Michigan. Cincinnati came into the championship game 13-2. Michigan comes in 15-0. And Cincinnati wins by a field goal, 24-21, to take home the title and be crowned the champions with a 14-2 record. That's pretty sweet. Like a 3-star team wins the whole thing for the first one. Yep, and that's the playoffs. Alright, so like I said, these are some of the other bowl games that were played and some of the scores. Now I use the college football tool, so which is pretty cool. You can set some of these games up. So I pretty much set up these bowl games, which I like. So that's that piece there. Let's take a look at. This out the way. Let's take a look at All-Americans, which would also include all-conference players. So first team All-American, I'll just scroll through this. I don't believe any of my players made this list, but you can see the players here who did make it. Michigan and Utah players, Ohio State, that all makes sense. Oh, look at that, Montero, our middle linebacker. Now, I take that with a grain of salt because, you know, the tackles are kind of skewed, but our middle linebacker is a first team All-American. Same with our right outside linebacker, Chamberlain, Trishawn Chamberlain, first team All-American. So our 2 linebackers, again, that defense, I mean, you know, kind of makes sense. Our defense was, you know, really good. It was like the highlight of our team, actually. So that's pretty sweet. We walked away with 2 first team All-Americans. This is All-America. Second team All-Americans, I really doubt it on this side, but we'll see. They're a Cincinnati rep. A lot of Utah players, Michigan. You know the good teams are going to be represented. They're an Iowa State player. A lot of Michigan. Yep, so we didn't have any second team players. Freshman All-American. Pretty salty that my running back wasn't a freshman All-American. How many yards does this dude have? Oh, okay, he went over 1,000. 1196, just under 1,200. Oh yeah, he was kind of beasting on her. Sean Tucker. Okay. Damn, overall 95? What the heck? That's a beastly freshman. What kind of stuff is that? What? Yeah, we don't have any freshman All-American, as you can see here. Okay, that's freshman All-American list. Now let's check out. I'm not gonna go through all of these conferences. I'm really only concerned with Conference USA. First team all conference. Looks like Western Kentucky just dominated. But there goes our defensive players. Our defensive tackle, Elijah Garcia, and then the two All-Americans. It makes sense that they are first team all conference. Naeem Smith, our free safety, made first team all conference. So congratulations to him on that. That's 3-4 first team all conference players. Remember, we went 4-4 in our conference, so I would expect there to be. I'm not so shocked that there are players on this list, I'll put it that way. Our kicker got second team all conference. We'll take it. So we got 5 players on our conference list. Right, so that's that. We could take a look at award winners. The Maxwell Trophy went to Blake Corum, the halfback out of Michigan. 274 carries, 1,741 yards, 16 touchdowns, 24 receptions, 325 yards. Yeah, he balled. Watcher Camp went to the same guy. Bednarik. What is the Bednarik Trophy? I guess that's for defenders. But you see this? This dude out of Nevada he only had 42 total tackles. Like, what is that? So for some reason the computer, I wish they could fix that somehow. So Montero runs away with the Bednarik because he had 101 total tackles. The Nagurski, same deal here. These guys barely, look, one guy got 50 tackles. In real life, there would be more than just one person near 100 tackles, I'm sure. O'Brien Trophy goes to the quarterback out of Utah who had just a hair under 4,000 total passing yards and just a little over 250 running yards, 43 total touchdowns. Yeah, he balled. Doak Walker, there goes that man again, the Michigan running back. He was just collecting trophies. Oh wait, did I? No, I didn't. Okay, Bolitnikov. Okay, Bolitnikov goes to the Western Kentucky wide receiver. 103 receptions, 1,800 total yards. See, they get it right on the offensive side. 103 receptions, 1,800 total yards, 21 touchdowns. Yeah, that dude was on a mission. I don't think anybody else came close to 100 receptions. The Mackey Award, top tight end, that goes to the Washington tight end. Damn, he almost had 1,000 yards. Yeah, that's some baller stuff for a tight end. Cade Otton. The Outland Trophy goes to the Ohio State offensive tackle, 31 pancakes and 3 sacks allowed. I think my top offensive lineman didn't even have 3 pancakes to be hit. So yeah, he did the damn thing. The Remington Trophy went to Virginia's center. I'm not even gonna try to attempt that name. 23 pancakes, 3 sacks allowed. Lombardi goes to the Texas A&M defensive tackle, who had 9 sacks, forced fumble, fumble recovery. Buckets Award goes to my outside linebacker of Rice. Now, you know, like I said, take it with a grain of salt. 84 total tackles, 24 for loss. The Thorpe Award goes to Arizona State's cornerback, Chase Lucas. Didn't even say how they're gonna. This is like a cornerback award, but his stats are not showing me how many picks he had, if any. 7. Okay. 7 picks for Chase Lucas. You would think that they would put picks up here, but they don't. Okay, the Groza Award top kicker goes to Anders Carlson out of Auburn. The Guy Trophy for the top punter, that goes to Will Spears out of Clemson. You ran away with that one. And the Jet Award, not sure, is that for a return? Yeah, that must be for the top returner. That goes to AJ Henning out of Michigan. He'll run away with that one. 1,000 kick return yards, 400 punt return yards. That's over 1,500 return yards. Yeah, so that makes sense. Makes sense for sure. Alright, so those are the award winners for season 1. Very saw bowl results. Let's just take a look at the team stats here. We'll take a deeper dive into our team, the Rice Owls stats. Luke McCaffrey, he did what he could do, you know what I'm saying? Redshirt freshman year. Went 214 completions for 345 attempts, 2,391 yards, 8 touchdowns, 1 interceptions. Also, although the interceptions may be skewed, you probably should have thrown more, but it's okay. 62% completion. .70 was his long. He got sacked 43 times. See, running backs, or I should say rushing yards, because you got more than just running backs here. Freshman, I'm gonna pronounce this Kalan. I think this is a real person too. Kalan Griffin. He balled out, man. He had 4.1 average per carry, 210 carries, 869 yards. I think he did a hell of a job. He's not even all that fast, but he's pretty decent. Now, granted, I got this tweak to where the running backs can get, you know, they can eat out there, but that's still, you'll see over time. Like, for instance, Broussard had the same thing, but his average is only 2.9. So yeah, the freshman did a hell of a job. He's destined for 1,000 yards season in his career, and sooner rather than later. So basically next year. There go McCaffrey with the second leading rusher, 363 yards, 5 total touchdowns, 20 is the longest, or his long. Broussard, again, redshirt sophomore, 80 carries for 236 yards, only a 2.9 average, but his effect was much bigger than just 2.9. I think he played decent for us. 4 total touchdowns, or 4 rushing touchdowns, I should say. Jerry Johnson, the redshirt freshman fullback, the guy I had in here until he had that fumble at one point in the season. Fumble on the goal line, I should say. We were trying to get into a score. I forget who that was we were playing, and this dude just came up with a fumble. That was so disappointing. Suckley, the other fullback. I'm gonna change his number next year. I don't like 85 for a fullback. I get confused. It make him look like a tight end out there, which I'm pretty sure he's probably a converted tight end. And then Juma Otoviano, 4 carries for a whole lot of nothing. How you have? Oh well, no, that's not true. If that was 1 carry for 0 on the touchdown, it would be questionable. But Juma scored a touchdown at some point in the season. I vaguely remember that, but not so much. Okay, receivers. Our tight end, I could tell you, man, tight ends and fullbacks are really big in my offensive system, my offensive scheme. Jordan Myers proves it here. He led all receivers, all receivers with 48 receptions. August Petrie had a decent season, 37 receptions, 36 for Rosner. I would have thought Rosner would have led, but you know what? Next year, I'm going to make Rosner the wide receiver number 1. I forgot to do that at some point in the season. I forgot to adjust the roster because he did not start out at 83 overall. That increased over the season. He progressed. There's Kalen Griffin. He only had 95 receiving yards. I would have thought he would have had more than that, but we'll take it. Jack Bradley, our other tight end, just a sophomore. That's the other thing too. Even though we went 4-8, we got a really young team. Most of these players are gonna come back if they don't get cut. So we're gonna have a lot of returning players if they don't get cut. Receiving yards, August Petrie the third led that with 547. Rosner number 2, 520. Myers 479. Bailey, I feel like Bailey was a little bit of a disappointment. 33 receptions, 401 yards, only a 12.1 average. 3 receivers tied with 2 touchdowns each. Petrie, Rosner, tight end Bradley. Myers and Cedric Patterson had a touchdown. 14 receptions for 161 yards his senior season. 73 overall. He did what he could. You see here, Bailey didn't get any touchdowns, receptions. So long. Petrie kind of balled. Petrie looked like he was our best receiver out there, even though his overall was only 75. That's interesting. Yards per game, he led that. Yak. Myers led that. Here's what I was trying to get to, drops. Petrie also led that, yeah, 11 drops. Bailey had 9 drops. That's way too many drops. I mean, that's way too many as well, but both of these, 20 drops between the 2 of them. And everybody else seemed more reasonable. But yeah, this is detrimental. Let me see something. His catching is 70. Catching traffic 65. Spectacular catch 65. See, yeah, he can't catch. But he was one of the best receivers we had out there. But he was dropping a lot too, though. That dropping was frustrating the hell out of me. Jake Bailey, I can't figure out why he was dropping so much. 79 catch, 77 catch in traffic, 77 spectacular catch. I don't get it. We'll see what he can do next year. He's kind of slow. Blocking side. Damn, I thought I had somebody with at least 3 pancakes. I was wrong. My top guy only had 1 pancake. He also had Gave up 14 sacks. Ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. Here's our defense. Like I said, Montero 105 tackles. Chamberlain behind him with 88. And then Taylor, Orgy, the rest of the crew. But yeah, Montero went off though. Montero, and he's just a junior. He's coming back next year. He had a kind of a monster year. These two right here lead our defense. Montero and Chamberlain. That's the heart of the defense right there. We're going to lose Elijah Garcia. He led the team in sacks with 8. Newman comes back as our top defensive end. Chamberlain, oh well, hopefully these guys come back. Chamberlain's supposed to come back. Caleb James coming back. He's just a freshman. We only had 1 pick all season from Montero. I tweaked the settings, so hopefully next year we'll see. It should be more picks. Then there was the karma game where we got 2 picks that got erased because the system froze. That was a freaking heartbreaker. Not heartbreaker, but just disappointment. See deflections. Sean Fresh, I think that's how you pronounce the last name. He balled, you know. I thought he had a really good freshman season. Forced fumbles, Chamberlain again on top. Those 7 forced fumbles were major. 3 from Orgy, 3 from Montero, 2 from Garcia, 2 from Naeem Smith, and the other contributors. Fumble recoveries, Miles McCord, Naeem Smith, and Antonio Montero all tied there. Yards, we didn't have any blocks, no safeties. Our kicker, I think you pronounced that Risatelli. Colin Risatelli went 14 for 14 on his field goals, so he's basically perfect. He had a pretty decent senior season. Our punter, 39.8 average, 27.9 net average. Kick return, Bailey did a decent job on kick returns, even though he's not really that fast. 30 returns, 769 total yards, 25.6 average, no touchdowns, 35 long. We need more speed on this team. Montgomery, the little guy, 5'5", 160, 273 total yards, no touchdowns. On punt returns, Fresh, 43 punt returns, 417 total yards, 9.6 average, no touchdowns, 20 long. So yeah, those are our stats. That's the stats for the season. I don't think we broke any records. Yeah, that was about it. Let me see, is there anything else to see? Yep, so that is the review for season 1. Season 2 not necessarily coming up next. We have another episode for season 1, which I'm gonna attribute to season 1, which will be the off season. If you're still watching, thanks for watching this far. I haven't said it all season long. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. I think we got just barely more wins than subscribers at this point with our 4 wins. But yeah, until next time, peace out.